My best friend drugged me, then asked for a threesome with me and my boyfriend. I never thought I'd be in a situation like this. You always read about wild relationship disasters and think, that could never be me. Well, here I am, right in the middle of one. Let's rewind. I've been with my boyfriend Mark for 5 years. We met in college, bonded over mutual sarcasm at a party we didn't want to attend, and never looked back. We moved in together after graduation and always talked about getting married. Things were stable. Not perfect, but solid. Then there's John, Mark's best friend since high school and a huge part of both of our lives. John is this free-spirited tech guy who travels constantly and always has insane stories from his trips. He's charismatic, funny, and has that whole mysterious world traveler vibe going on. Anyway, John had just gotten back from Russia, and we were invited to his sister's birthday party. The three of us decided to ditch the loud crowd and hang out at John's apartment, which wasn't unusual. We've done it countless times before. We got there, caught up on his trip, and everything seemed totally normal. Until John pulled out a capsule. When asked, he said it was some plant-based supplement from Russia that helped with jet lag. He even waved around the bottle, showing us the foreign writing and acting like it was no big deal. Mark took one. And after a bit of teasing and reassurance, so did I. At first, nothing seemed off. We were eating pizza, laughing, joking like always. Then, things shifted. Colors looked brighter. Touch felt warmer. I was laughing harder than usual, and when I looked in the mirror, my pupils were blown. That's when John casually dropped the bomb. Oh, by the way, there was Molly in that. My heart dropped. He laughed like it was no big deal. I freaked out. I'd never done anything harder than weed, and even that's rare. Mark seemed a little surprised, but not nearly as much as I was. We left quickly, both of us shaken. But then, the drug kicked in harder. We sat outside, and all the anger started fading. The high took over, and suddenly everything felt amazing. Mark kept running his hands through my hair and saying how soft it was. The world felt magical. Then John called us, still apologizing. And somehow, we invited him back. The three of us ended up at a nearby park, sitting on a bench under the stars, talking for hours. About everything. About fears, relationships, loneliness. Looking back, I know it was the Molly talking. But at the time, it felt deep. Real. And then, the conversation turned to sex. John made a comment about how he'd join us in bed if we were ever open to it. I laughed it off, assuming it was John being John. But Mark responded with, maybe, but it's hard to find the right person. I thought it was just a joke, a weird moment. I moved on. Eventually, we went home. The high wore off. Reality came back, and with it, a sick feeling in my stomach. I had been drugged without consent. And no matter how fun the night felt, that was not okay. The next day, John came over with breakfast and Gatorade like that would fix it. I snapped. Told him how violated I felt. He insisted he thought we'd enjoy it, that he'd done it with friends before. Mark was weirdly calm. He said nothing bad happened, so maybe we should just move on. That hurt more than anything. Was I the only one who cared that our so-called best friend drugged us? Still, we tried to patch things up. We hung out before John's next trip. Things seemed almost normal, except I started noticing looks exchanged between him and Mark. And then, the next bomb dropped. Mark tells me, out of nowhere, that he's been thinking about John's threesome suggestion. Not only that, but he and John already discussed it. They were just waiting for me to agree. I couldn't believe it. After everything, after the drugging, the broken trust, they were planning this behind my back? I left. I couldn't go home. Crashed at a coworker's place. Told both of them I needed space. And when I finally confronted them, I said everything I had bottled up. I told John that what he did was a violation. that drugging someone, even with good intentions, is never okay, that he broke my trust. And I told Mark that his silence, his calmness, his willingness to discuss something so intimate with someone else behind my back made me feel like I didn't matter. They both apologized. John said he'd go to therapy. Mark swore he didn't know about the Molly and that he'd never do anything to hurt me, but the damage was done. Now, I don't know what to do. Part of me wants to believe them, to forgive and forget. Another part of me knows this isn't just about a mistake. It's about boundaries and how mine were completely ignored. Mark and John are both waiting, but I'm taking my time. I don't know if I can come back from this. I might not have closure yet, but one thing is clear. Sometimes the people closest to you can shatter your trust without even realizing it. And rebuilding that, if it's even possible, takes time.